Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 2058 AN. Today's date is December 30th, 2019, and the title of the episode is Central Bank Globalization Has No Future. A New Economy is Coming into the Light. Now, before I get started, let's talk about being prepared and protecting yourself. The new Patriot X 2020 flashlight model is here. Features include compass, magnet rope, and a wire cutter, solar-powered recharging, high and low beam LED modes, extended glass-breaking hammer. The holidays are quickly approaching. Why not purchase one of the best flashlights on the market, the Patriot Brother X 2020 flashlight? The holidays are here, and the Patriot flashlight wants to extend a special 20% Patriot discount to all customers throughout the month of December. Limited supplies last, and this is the very last chance to get 20% off the new 2020 model before they sell out. Take advantage now and give you and your family the gift of night protection. Click the link below. Let's get into the economic collapse financial news. Now, very interestingly, we know that the central bank system is not designed to make everyone prosper. It is designed so there are a few that prosper, a lot of them are on the inside, and there are many that do not. There are many that struggle. This is by design. It was created this way on purpose, to enslave the people. Think about what the central banks have done, not just here in the United States, but around the world. As their system begins, everyone thinks it's amazing. Everyone's, wow, look at this. My wages are going up. My house price is going up. Everything is incredible. I feel wealthier. Now I have credit. That's the illusion. What's really happening is the system's breaking down. And it's very interesting that the mainstream media, the financial pundits, they're all out there saying, and they're putting out articles, and they're saying that, more Americans, they're getting priced out of purchasing a home more than ever, because housing prices are increasing. Well, we have the same thing with health insurance. We have the same thing with food. I'm talking about real, natural, organic, healthy food. I'm not talking about the box can stuff. I'm talking about colleges. And the question is, why is this? Is this because those products are going up in price? No. It's because the central bank system is flawed. The flaw is that as they create more and more paper, the system declines. It loses value. Every Federal Reserve note, debt note that you're holding is continually losing value every single day. And people in this country and around the world, it makes it very difficult to afford something. This is why you see payments now. There was never anything like this before, where if you want to go purchase something that's $50 or $20, you can have a payment plan where you can pay like $2 a month or $3 a month or $4 a month until you pay it off. There's a reason for this. It's a system that is breaking down, that's imploding on itself. And when you look at the housing market, yes, there are bubbles. It's the same exact thing. People, their wages, through a central bank system, it cannot keep up with the decline of the Federal Reserve note. It just can't. And what happens over time is it pushes people out of the market. Now you can understand why Trump wants the interest rates lowered. Not to 2%, not to 1%, most likely 0 and negative. What does it do to the central bank? Well, it destroys their system. Their system is based on interest. When they loan out currency, interest is attached. It puts those governments, the people, into debt. Trump, the Patriots, they understand this. They understand that if they lower the interest rates and continually lower the interest rates, the central banks suffer. Yes, I know those people who have their Federal Reserve notes in the banks, you're not gaining any interest on that. Actually, you're losing money on that. But remember, this is a central bank system. You can't have everything. The only thing you can do with a central bank system is use it to destroy it and start a people system by creating a new economic system. He's lowering the interest rates right now to keep this system going. It brings more and more people into the housing market. If the interest rates stayed where they were, people wouldn't be able to afford anything. Think about what the central banks have done. They've made wealth inequality. What has Trump been doing? Wages in the middle and lower end of the spectrum, they have been increasing to narrow the gap. This is being done on purpose. And we also see the trade deficit. It has shrunk to the smallest since Trump was elected. The $63.2 billion deficit was considerably smaller than the $68.7 billion expected. Imports fell by 1.3% in November. Exports rose to 0.7%. Auto exports rose to 3.4%. And if the relationship with manufacturing PMI holds up, the deficit is set to shrink further. Remember, the system that we're in was designed by the globalists, designed by the central bank. That's what this system is right now. Trump, the patriots, as we've been watching this in real time, they're developing a new system where it's not going to enslave the people. The people will be able to flourish in this system. The people will be able to take back their economic wealth. And we can see already with the China trade deal, the phase 1 trade deal, we're getting word that China's Vice Premier, Liu He, and Chief Trade Negotiator will lead a delegation to Washington where they're expected to sign the phase 1 deal. This is about evening out trade, evening out what the globalists, what the central banks have done over the many, many years. This is why when Trump was at the UN in September, he said that globalism does not have a future in this new economic system that they are creating. Now, are we still going to trade globally? Yes. I'm talking about the central bank globalization. That's what they were pushing. They were trying to create a system that they completely controlled. So that's bad globalization. It's central planning, where the top individuals control trade around the world. Trump, and pretty soon the UK and many other countries, they're going to have individual bilateral trade agreements with other countries, which will allow each country to decide what type of trade deal they're going to make that will better the country, not a non-elected group like the EU or the Rothschild banking system. This is what Trump is doing. He's taking everything the globalists did and he's removing it one by one, creating these trade deals. Of course, China doesn't want to give. Remember, there's still deep state actors, central bankers in all of these countries pushing their agenda, making it difficult. And let's take, for instance, the UK. The people voted 3 years ago to have a Brexit. Why didn't their government listen to what they wanted? Why were they trying to get around it by creating this deal that didn't benefit the people but benefited the EU? Because there are central bankers, deep state individuals in these countries still pushing their agenda. Why don't they like Boris Johnson? Why don't they like Nigel Farage? They don't like them because they're not going to do what the non-elected central bankers want. Why don't they like Trump? Why do they continually try to say the economy is not doing well? Why do they try to still bash him for what is happening in the economy? Because they don't like him reversing what they had going. They understand his plan in the end is to remove the central bank system, is to shut all of this down. And they know that they can't say anything about the stock market. They can't say anything about the GDP numbers. Yes, they can try to spin it a little bit, but if they go too far, people are going to start to question it. Well, wasn't this how it was all along? Are you trying to say this is manipulated and this is going back in time? They don't want to reach that far So they spin it a little bit to make it seem like Trump's economy is not that great. And yes, Trump has taken responsibility for the stock market. Or has he? Because if you look at his past tweets, he blames the Fed. He continually blames the Fed that if they don't do what I want them to do, they're the ones to blame. I'm making the stock market look fantastic. He's taking responsibility for that. If the Fed does anything differently than what Trump wants, the Fed is then to blame. So if the stock market comes down, it will be because of the Fed. It'll be because they didn't follow what Trump wanted. When he's saying, hey, lower interest rates, and they don't lower interest rates, and they raise interest rates, and the market comes down, he's going to say, because he's already established this, look, I made the market go up to 28,000 points, the highest we've ever seen, and now the Fed has reversed course. And he'll say, is that my fault? No. I was making it better, and you saw it. It's the Fed that's doing the opposite of what we need. And like he said in the past, the Fed has no clue in what they are doing. He set up the perfect narrative. And I believe, in the end, he's going to use this narrative, just like he's using it on the deep state players. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.